Hi again, we're in the Message of Acts by John Stott. This is the section in chapter 25, verses 13 to 22. Festus asked Agrippa's advice. A few days later, King Agrippa and Bernice arrived at Caesarea to pay their respects to Festus. Since they were spending many days there, Festus discussed Paul's case with the king. He said, "There's a man here whom Felix left as a prisoner. When I went to Jerusalem, the chief priests and elders of the Jews brought charges against him and asked that he be condemned. I told them that it is not the Roman custom to hand over any man before he has faced his accusers and has had an opportunity to defend himself against their charges. When they came here with me, I did not delay the case, but convened the court the next day and ordered the man to be brought in. When his accusers got up to speak, they did not charge him with any of the crimes I had expected. Instead, they had some points of dispute with him about their own religion and about a dead man named Jesus, whom Paul claimed was alive. I was at a loss how to investigate such matters, so I asked if he would be willing to go to Jerusalem and stand trial there on these charges. When Paul made his appeal to be held over for the emperor's decision, I ordered him to be held until I could send him to Caesar." Then Agrippa said to Festus, "I would like to hear this man myself." He replied, "Tomorrow you will hear him." Stott comments, Herod Agrippa II was the son of Herod Agrippa I of Acts 12 and the great-grandson of Herod the Great. Bernice was his sister, and rumors were rife that their relationship was incestuous. Because he had been only 17 years old when his father died, he was considered too young to assume the kingdom of Judea, which therefore reverted to rule by procurator. Instead, he was given a tiny and insignificant northern kingdom within what is now Lebanon, and this was later augmented by territory in Galilee. He was nevertheless influential in Jewry because the Emperor Claudius had committed to him both the care of the temple and the appointment of the high priest. He and Bernice came to Caesarea to pay their respects to the new procurator, and during their stay Festus raised Paul's case, which he had inherited from Felix. He told the king 3 things which he had done. First, on his visit to Jerusalem, he had heard the Jewish leaders accuse Paul and request his condemnation, but it insisted that, according to Roman custom, the accused must be allowed to face his accusers and defend himself against them. Secondly, when the Jewish leaders came to Caesarea, Festus had immediately convened the court, only to discover that Paul was not being charged with crimes against the state, but with religious offenses, and with the claim that a dead man named Jesus was alive. Thirdly, because Festus felt out of his depth in religious questions like these, he had asked Paul if he was willing to be tried in Jerusalem, but instead he had appealed to Caesar, and Festus had granted his appeal. Intrigued by Festus's summary of the case, Agrippa said that he would like to hear Paul himself, and Festus agreed. Paul had aroused his curiosity, much as Jesus had aroused the curiosity of his great-uncle, Herod Antipas. Next time, Paul before Agrippa. I'll put in a link to the Bible basis of authority, which, to my surprise as an ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, was not inspiration, and certainly wasn't interpretation by an organization, but was rather eyewitness testimony. So I'll put in a link to the first of several videos we did on that subject, the Bible basis of authority. See you soon.